Stan Mathabatha. Sir, thank you very much for joining us and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to your viewers also.
From Limpopo side, sir, the first 2-3 days, we're now in the third day of this policy conference. What have you made of the discussions and the debates, even the reports of the first 2 days?
No, I think the reports were good. We had a number of reports, presentations made by the leadership, including the much spoken about diagnostic report, which in our view was a situational analysis that was guiding us as delegations from various provinces and branches. So we certain that at the end of the day we'll achieve what we want to achieve out of this conference.
Let's talk a little bit about the diagnostic report. So what was your take of it? Because my perspective of it, and even some of my colleagues, is that it paints a picture of an ANC that's ailing, that's quite sick at the moment.
Well, an ANC that is quite sick at the moment is something else, but I would say it paints a picture of an ANC that has got serious challenges, which in my view are not new. The ANC, since its inception, it has always encountered various challenges, and hence we have always said, out of various developments, out of various experiences that we come across, we emerge a new being, and we emerge as stronger than ever before.
The challenges that have faced the ANC in previous years, in previous decades, none of them ever really had faced declines. For instance, in ethics of the branches or people that are holding public office representing the ANC, the issues of values, issues of tradition that are in decline, and those are things that were pointed out. So clearly, you guys must be taking this very seriously.
I don't want to sound like I'm defending something that is not defendable here. But what I'm trying to say is that these are the challenges of a different time. We had challenges, if you can remember, in 1930, the ANC had very serious challenges when the obituary of the African National Congress was written, when Priestley Kaisa Gaseme was elected as the new president. But we emerged out of that. In 1949, the ANC had to even go all out and get Dr. Moroka, who was not even a member of the ANC that time, and made him president of the ANC, because there were serious challenges then, In 1969 at Morogoro, we had very serious challenges also. 1985, Kabye, when people were killing each other, I think it was a very serious challenge of that time also. Now, come 2017, when you've got different, it's a very different time, a very different landscape, very different terrain, very different conditions also. You've got this kind of challenges that we are facing today. And we are saying, because we are trained with various tools of analysis, assessing the situation, assessing ourselves, doing introspection like we did, the Secretary General did with the diagnostic report, self-criticism, where you dissect yourself, and say, what are the issues, what are the problems, what is the cause of what we are seeing out there? How do we rectify the effect of this cause? I think we're getting there. I think the most important thing for me is the process. What is it that we are doing to heal what you call the sick ANC currently?
One of the very critical issues about the state that the ANC finds itself in is that these are issues that have taken place over time, as you've correctly pointed out. So to fix them also will require time, as much if not more time. How much time is the ANC giving itself to say, look, by this time, within the next 5 years, we want to be at this level. We don't want to be facing these same sort of challenges. Are there such discussions taking place that are time bound?
You see, this policy conference is actually one step towards the preparations of the national elective conference in December. And we are saying out of this policy conference, we must do that dissection that I was talking about and ensure that when we go to the national elective conference, we go there as a united party. We emerge out of that elective conference stronger than ever before.
Do you think that policy will help the ANC be united? I mean, listening to the president's speech on Friday, or to his opening address, he spoke very much of unity. But then in that very same address, you know, he criticizes the veterans. So, I mean, how do you call for unity on one hand, but on the other hand, you then, you know, give someone a backhand slap?
Well, we've got different interpretations of different situations. You know. My view is that the thrust of the speech of the president was of a unifying nature. Yes, you may have this and that. I mean, like I'm saying, we've got different interpretations of the same statements, you know. But like I'm saying, this is not a mathematical question, it's a social issue. Oh. You know, you're dealing with people here, and then people have got their own independent views, which must be respected, of course.
All right. Independent views which must be respected. Does that result in unity?
Absolutely does. You know, like initially when we started with this interview, you remember I told you that we believe that you'll always have these challenges, these contradictions, and out of those challenges, that's when you develop, you know. When you have all these different views coming into the same pot, because in the ANC we have always said we encourage people to differ, encourage people to argue, encourage people to debate issues, but the purpose, the main objective of this difference must be for the purposes of uniting the African National Congress. We must differ for the purposes of agreeing. We must not differ. We must not differ to differ. We must differ to agree.
All right. Now I hear you, sir. Let's move it a little bit along from my side. What are the key issues that for Limpopo province this policy conference must deal with?
Remember, Limpopo is a rural province. One of the main issues that we are dealing with is rural development. So we are of the view that, for example, the legislative framework that we are having in the country today must be revisited. Your National Companies Act, your National Credit Act, your Public Finance Management Act must be revisited and be redesigned or perhaps refocused towards assisting development of entrepreneurship in rural areas. Two, we are of the view that we need to speed up the issues of the delivery of issues, basic services like your water, sanitation services and the like to our areas. Three is the land question, the land issue. We are saying the land issue must be addressed with more intensity that it deserves, because we really need to speed that up.
How must it be sped up? What must happen to the issue of land?
We are saying government must take the lead. As a province, we are saying government must take the lead in restitution, in redistribution of land. We must be in the position to can go back to those who are in possession of the bulk of this land, and be in the position to can say to them, here is the line of march as government. You know, we must be able to say to them, here is the line of march, even though it does not mean, because we debated that also, the issue of expropriation without compensation. We did debate that as a province, but we said no. We can't be seen to be, because in our view it will be anarchy to some extent. We are saying that government must regulate, but the regulation must not be the regulation that we had in the past, like you are willing buy, a willing sell. You know, it must be the regulation that says government can take a decision, a particular decision, on this matter, in the interest of the public good.
What are the consequences, finally, sir, what are the consequences to the ANC should it fail to deal succinctly with the issue of land?
Remember, the reason why the ANC was established, in the main, it was because of this land question. Hence, you've got the green color in the flag of the African National Congress. You've got black, green, and gold. That green color is actually representing that political aspect of land, the land question, you know. So land still actually remained the critical defining issue of the African National Congress. So the consequence is, if the ANC doesn't, is not seen or perceived or felt to be driving this with vigor, then the public that supports the ANC will then withdraw their votes from the African National Congress. So the African National Congress cannot afford to do that, in short.
All right. Sir, thank you very much. We really do appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to us. And that was Stan Mathabatha, who is the chairperson of the ANC in Limpopo, talking to us about the policy conference and just some of the key issues that they as a province would like this policy conference to deal with. For the time being, we'll cross you back into studio. Hopefully a little bit later on, we'll bring you that press conference with Fikile Mbalula on organizational renewal. From us, it's back to studio.
Thank you, of course, to our tried and tested reporter, Lukhanyo Calata, having a chat with the Limpopo chairman and premier, Stan Mathabatha, of course, discussing all the issues coming out on the 2017 ANC Policy Conference that's currently happening in NASREC here in Johannesburg. Like he said, we'll probably cross live to that press briefing that is, of course, expected by Minister Fikile Mbalula. Now, moving ahead, ANC KwaZulu-Natal chairperson Sihlezi Kalala has warned the ANC members of parliament against voting with the opposition in the next month a motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma. The speaker has called for submissions on whether